Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our panel discussion titled Towards a Resilient Cyber Future Insight on Global Cyber Workforce Gaps and Skills Shortage. Our moderator is Lara Habib, Senior Presenter, Al Arabiya News Channel. Our panelists are William H. Dutton, Martin Fellow, Oxford University's Global Cybersecurity Capacity Center, and Emeritus Professor, University of Southern California. Shoaib Yousuf, Managing Director and Partner, BCG. Natasa Perucica, Lead for Capacity Building, World Economic Forum's Center for Cybersecurity. Lara, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session on bridging the cybersecurity workforce gap. As we navigate an increasingly digitized world, the demand for skilled cybersecurity professionals has never been greater. Despite this growing demand, the gap between the skills available and those required by the industry continues to widen, posing a significant risk to the resilience and security of cyberspace. Today, we will be unveiling a comprehensive report produced by BCG that sheds light on the current state of the cybersecurity workforce gap. Through this discussion, we aim to explore the root causes of this shortage, examine the impact it has on businesses and critical infrastructure, and most importantly, identify practical and effective ways to address this challenge. Before we begin these discussions with my panelists, I would like to welcome on stage Engineer Abdulrahman Al Hassan, Acting CEO of the Global Cybersecurity Forum, who will present to us the main outcomes of the Cybersecurity Workforce Report.
So, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests, it's a privilege to welcome you all at the Global Cybersecurity Annual Meeting 2024, and especially to this roundtable where we are going to share insights from the 2024 State of the Global Cybersecurity Workforce. As the boundaries between the cyber and physical worlds blur, the rising threat of cybercrime is alarming, with the cost soaring from 445 billion in 2025 to over 2.2 trillion in 2023. The urgency is clear. Despite the investment of nearly 200 billion annually in cybersecurity services and products, this alone is not enough. There is a critical need for more skilled professionals, yet the shortage of the cybersecurity workforce leaves many organizations and countries increasingly vulnerable. Therefore, it is essential to get an actionable insights regarding the state of the global cybersecurity workforce across regions and sectors. This report, jointly written by the Global Cybersecurity Forum Institute and the BCG, which is based on a robust methodology, generated insights over 6,000 senior cybersecurity professionals across 48 countries, provides most comprehensive data-driven analysis of the current state of the cybersecurity workforce, offering actionable recommendations tailored to specific regions and industries. Today, the cybersecurity workforce consists of 7.1 million professionals worldwide, yet the gap persists, with the greatest shortage of being in Asia Pacific and America regions, which is together account for 81% of the global shortfall. This report provides a roadmap we need to address the disparities and build workforce that is not only large, but better equipped to tackle the evolving landscape of the cyber security threats. What makes this report stands apart is not just the scale, but the depth that it has. This report delivers granular, regional, specific insights alongside industry-level analysis, helping decision-making to understand exactly where the most critical shortage exists and how to address them. It shines light on the diversity challenge regarding the women remaining unrepresented in cybersecurity, making only 24% of the workforce compared to the 36 in the broader IT sector. Furthermore, it identifies the urgent need for collaboration across sectors, with technology and financial services currently employing 37% of the global cybersecurity workforce, while other industries lag behind. This report reveals a critical global shortfall of 2.8 million cybersecurity professionals. This means that every 5 cybersecurity roles, only 4 qualified professionals are available. This shortage poses not just the recruitment issues, but serious security concerns, leaving businesses, governments, and individuals vulnerable to increasingly sophisticated cyber threats. Additionally, we find the skills gap further compounded the problem. 43% of the CISOs report that their teams lack the skills needed to address growing threats. The most pressing includes cybersecurity leadership, network security, security architecture, and cloud security, the skills that requires a rare combination of a technical expertise, business, and deep security knowledge. These gaps are projected to persist for at least the next 5 years. So I would like to draw the attention to 2 critical areas. First, the underrepresentation of women in cybersecurity, who accounts only 24% of the global workforce. We must work hard to create pathways and opportunities for women in this report. Targeted recruitment, mentorship programs, and inclusive workplace policies are critical steps in building a more diverse and robust cybersecurity workforce. Second, we must focus on fostering collaboration across industries, sectors such as technology and financial services have made greater strides in cybersecurity investment, employing 37% of the global cybersecurity workforce. However, other industries must also step up to bridge the gap. Our efforts, therefore, must be bold and collaborative. We must draw an insight outlined in this report to ensure that our workforce is equipped not just for today's challenges, but also for the complexities of tomorrow's cyber landscape. This is why we are here today, bringing together leaders from various sectors for forging actionable solutions. I am confident that together we can tackle these challenges, create inclusive opportunities, and build resilient cybersecurity ecosystems. I would like to welcome our esteemed panelists, and we look forward to hearing their insights and working together on solutions that will deliver our collective cybersecurity future. From the GCF point of view, from the GCF Institute point of view, we are going to continue this effort in order to make sure that we address the points that we are going to take from these meetings and the meetings that will take place alongside the GCF annual meeting. Thank you very much. And Lara, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdulrahman. Thank you so much, and thank you for setting the stage for our conversation. Thank you. So I would like to continue these discussions with my esteemed panelists, and my first question goes to you, Shoaib. You described the shortage in cybersecurity as a threat we cannot ignore. Can you elaborate on that, and what are the main drivers behind this shortage?
Thank you so much, Lara. First of all, thank you so much for having me on this panel, and it has been a great honor and privilege to collaborate with the GCF Institute on this report. We truly believe that this report was much needed for us because this brings a lot of insights. We believe that cybersecurity is less about technology, more about capabilities. And capabilities you cannot build if you truly don't understand what is the supply and demand. Cybersecurity is one of the top risks globally. It has become one of the top agenda for at the board level, at the policy makers, and it has one of the kind of highest impact on the economical and the prosperities as well. I heard today in one of the sessions, which was quoted during the opening ceremony, that after climate risk, cybersecurity is also rated as one of the second risks, which means that if we collectively don't address this risk, we will be always doing catch up, which means that there will be always a higher risk, and we will be always kind of catching up that what needs to be done. So it was important for us to kind of understand that how many cybersecurity professionals are out there, what is the demand and what is the supply gap, and what are the things we need to do to kind of collectively bridge that gap. To our report findings were astonishing. We found that most of these gaps are pertaining to four common issues. One, Lara, is definitely that the skilled workforce which is needed to fulfill that demand doesn't exist. Second, of course, when there is a skilled workforce available, there's a high expectations on salaries. Number three, if the demand of salaries which are expected by the skilled workforce cannot be fulfilled by the companies. And there is a severe competition, which means that when you have a limited workforce, every organization who has put cybersecurity as on the top of the agenda is trying to attract the same talent, which means that there is a shortage of supply, there is a high demand, which makes it unsustainable to provide the thriving careers. And that's why we have also noticed that cybersecurity workforce are also quite moving across the industries as well. So these common issues need to be addressed, and there is only one way we can address this, by making sure that there is enough supply of cybersecurity workforce available, that they are skilled, so that we can bring the right kind of career platforms for them, and we actually build the right set of capabilities to address all the challenges and the risks which cybersecurity poses to our globally.
So raising salaries does not solve the issue?
I truly believe that salary alone will not solve the issues, because salary increasement means that we are creating more competition, and we are creating a lot more kind of increasing the gap. We need to focus on bridging the gap by providing additional trainings, certification, reskilling, upskilling, that all kind of talent available to address this gap.
We'll go back to that point, but William, I want to ask you, what are, according to you, are some of the major implications that we will see from this shortage in workforce in the cybersecurity sector?
Thanks. Congratulations on the report. I think it's an excellent report. It's well researched, very useful, and and I think clearly we've done. I'm a social scientist, and we've done research on the relationship of cybersecurity capacity building to the problems users face and their economic consequences of computer use. And it's clear that there's a positive impact of maturity on economic outcomes. Even controlling for GDP, you have a positive impact. So if you have a workforce shortage, it's going to have a negative impact on it. But in addition to being a social science, I'm also an optimist. And I would like to say, just as a bit of a switch here, that it also means there are a lot of jobs out there. There are jobs to fill, and that you have an area that could be a huge opportunity for new students, new professionals, and so forth. And the if is, can you change the narrative around cybersecurity?
In what sense?
The panel before this talked about killing the stereotype about the cybersecurity professional, and that's part of what you have to do. Cybersecurity has the stereotype of masculine, IT techie, tech-centered, isolated, me and my computer, and don't talk to me. And that's not a image, and that's not a reality that many women want to work with or work as. And besides that, it's wrong, because as cyber is becoming more central to almost every job in industry and even in the household, it means that we're all in this. We're all cybersecurity professionals in one way or another. And therefore, it's got to be much more multidisciplinary. And I think if we can change this narrative and enable it to be, look, we need psychologists, we need people informed about business, we need people informed about political science and public policy, then we can, I think, and I'll stop at that, because I'll maybe say more if there's an interest in that, but I think there's an opportunity for creating those jobs are there, already created. There's an opportunity to fill them with a much more diverse, multidisciplinary workforce.
William, you were the first professor of Internet Studies at Oxford University. Yeah. So do you compare what's happening now in cybersecurity to when you try to attract more students to study Internet Studies at the beginning of the Internet?
No, it's different. It's different because the OII, the Oxford Internet Institute, has always had a lot of women, faculty and also students, and because women use the internet and know how to use the internet, and because it's functional for almost everything that they want to do as a student in his career. And there's no, so yeah, in fact, there are more women in the UK using the internet than there are men. And by the way, I see some of the women in this audience are computer science students, and they are not the stereotype of the computer scientist at all. So it's good to see you in the audience. But so I think it's a harder job, but I think the OII was onto something we have a department devoted to internet studies from multiple disciplines. Most computer security departments are subspecialties within computer science. So it's very hard to have that multidisciplinary approach when it's a subdiscipline of a very non-multidisciplinary discipline.
Natasha, I want to hear your thoughts on what we just heard, and especially in terms are universities teaching the right skills that is needed in the workforce when it comes to cybersecurity. The BCG report identifies significant skill gaps in areas such as cloud security, cybersecurity leadership, and network security. So how much is this related to the skills that are being taught at universities?
Thank you for your question, and congratulations to GCF and BCG on the publication of the report. And also thank you to the host for having me today here. I would say that it is important actually to address the gap that currently exists between the curricula that are offered by educational institutions and the industry demand. At the World Economic Forum, we have an initiative called Bridging the Cyber Skills Gap that very much focuses also on the industry, and that has brought together stakeholders from the oil and gas sector, from manufacturing, from financial services, and the likes, who all have a shortage of cybersecurity professionals. And through the conversations that we were able to have with our partners, we realized that it is extremely important for the industry to collaborate with educational and training institutions in developing curricula on cybersecurity, because the industry stakeholders are very much aware of what their needs are. They're also familiar with the latest trends that they see in the field of cybersecurity, and as such, they can contribute with extensive knowledge to the curricula that students undertake at universities or technical schools where they train for careers in cybersecurity. Another way to ensure that there is better alignment and that we address this skills gap is to ensure that the industry is fully on board in terms of providing internship opportunities, apprenticeship programs, mentorships for individuals to gain the hands-on or practical experience in cybersecurity. And also to involve the industry experts in delivering some of the training or lectures on cybersecurity or related disciplines, just so that they can share really their experience from practice and what it looks like to be a cybersecurity professional. Perhaps one last thing that I would like to add is that there is definitely a need to ensure joint funded projects on cybersecurity to attract both academia and the industry in collaborating on a continuous basis with one another in order to conduct research on topics that are very much related to the skills gaps that we see in areas such as cloud security, for instance.
Thank you, Natasha. Shoaib, Natasha mentioned something that is very interesting, and that is the need for training to fill these skills. And you mentioned that in the report. You said that 91% of organizations believe that the industry certifications are important for bridging the cybersecurity skills gap. My question to you, how much are these corporations funding actually employees to get these certificates?
Thank you so much, Lara, for asking this question. And this is one of the questions we had a discussion as well. What we found that through our CISO surveys that many organizations globally are also going in an optimization mode. And when many organizations go on an optimization mode, the first thing they do is start slashing the budget, and training and attending the conference is unfortunately is the one which get optimized quite often. And one of the things which we have understood that many of the CISOs truly demand that in order to upskill and reskill the cybersecurity workforce, the cybersecurity training is much important. It's very important. It's very critical for the development. And when we actually also surveyed the professionals, they also highlighted the similar that basically if they would have asked one thing from the organization, they would ask the investment in their own development, which means that allowing them to kind of take the appropriate certifications, technical certifications, attending into the various conferences so that they can stay up to speed. Unfortunately, we see as a common pattern that most of the organizations, they are not investing as much as they should be investing in the certifications of the employees. And one of our key insight of the report was to bring this to life, to the right leadership, so that they can understand that what truly the workforce is demanding, what the leadership is asking, and how we can collectively start changing that perception that investing in your own employees is much needed. It helps them to stay relevant, and also reskilling the relevant IT roles. With some of the certifications, you can immediately tap into those roles, and you can start bridging that gap much faster.
William, I want to hear your thoughts. What is the roadmap to fill this workforce gap, in your opinion? And from the point of view of universities, what can be done and how fast are universities adapting to the emerging technologies that we are seeing in the cybersecurity space? And what I mean here is artificial intelligence, machine learning is one of them.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think they're adapting very quickly to new technologies. That's always exciting, and that brings in new curricula, new people, and so forth. But I think I'd like to push back a little bit on the. It's not. We just can't throw money at this issue of bringing. There have been decades of efforts to bring more women into IT, and so having more money for conferences or whatever may not make much of a difference. And that's why I would just emphasize again, I think it has to be more multidisciplinary in its approach so that it's more attractive. You have a broader net of attracting individuals who are talented, know how to use computing, and understand how to the cybersecurity needs. They keep saying, I heard at this conference, that you're missing skills like leadership, communication. Well, you know, that's not the stereotype of the IT cybersecurity person. So you could bring those skills in easily, and you can't miss an opportunity. They're talking about, with the new focus on cyber resilience, they're talking about cybersecurity being one of the three people, you know, that they bring to the C-suite boards, finance, legal, and cybersecurity. Well, that's making this a big area, and it's going to be a big draw for women and people from multiple disciplines, not just computer science. I think government and industry has to push for programs that reconfigure the way in which cybersecurity is taught in universities. That's what I would say.
Natasha, what are your thoughts here? What role should governments play that can be effective, in your opinion? And bridging this gap, of course.
So governments obviously play a key role in ensuring that we address the talent gap. They have, first of all, a very good overview in terms of the supply of talent. If we think of ministries of education, they're responsible, amongst other things, for developing school programs that teach cybersecurity. But what we see is that there is a need to include cybersecurity education at the very basic level. So at the very early stage, at the level of primary and secondary schools, to make sure that individuals, kids, have exposure to cybersecurity at a very young age and as soon as possible. And this does not only relate, obviously, to ensuring that they have good cyber hygiene practices, but also to ensuring the fact that they have the exposure to cybersecurity and leveraging this exposure to attract them to pursue careers in the field. Another thing that I think governments need to do is to work on developing workforce strategies that many have undertaken as an endeavor in order to ensure that this topic is really prioritized by decision makers and that there is a clear pathway to bringing in more talent into the field. One other suggestion that perhaps has come up in the discussions that we've had at the World Economic Forum is on ensuring that there is enough funding for cybersecurity talent. For emerging countries, this can be quite a bit of a challenge. Because they also face the issue of brain drain. So at times they invest heavily in educating cybersecurity professionals, but then they also face the challenge of their educated nationals leaving the country to go and work elsewhere and apply the skills that they have acquired in other parts of the world. So there is a need to ensure that the opportunities that are provided within countries are attractive enough for individuals to stay and to apply the expertise there.
Thank you so much. I want to hear your concluding remarks. We have, I think, 2 minutes left. So Each one, your concluding remarks on this. Where do you see this heading? Start with you.
Okay. Well, I'll pick up your point about even children need to be addressed in this area. But I think beyond training, and I agree with everything others have said, but beyond training, I live in Oxford where the majority of people ride bicycles to work because you can't park anywhere, right? So everybody rides a bike. Even kids and grown-ups and grandfathers like me have a bicycle security mindset. We never leave our bikes unlocked. We even get an old bike that somebody won't steal. We do everything. We don't even think about it. It's part of our mindset. We don't think about it. And that's where we need to be with cybersecurity, where we have a mindset that it's not, oh, I should be. Okay, so developing that, making that also address cyber resilience is going to be brilliant. If we can push that, and that brings in everybody, we're all in this.
Shoaib.
Thank you, Will. Fully agree with whatever you said, and I just want to kind of echo. I personally believe that this cybersecurity workforce is a collective effort, and we cannot just tackle it from one angle. As you rightly said, we have to do it across the value chain. We have to increase the pipeline of all the way from students who are entering into the professional career. So we need to make sure that we create an exciting career pathway for them, so that we get more and more students eager and keen, and they see cybersecurity as one of the thriving careers. So we increase the pipeline. Second, we also need to provide a lot of opportunities to this, the students or who are about to get into a professional career with the opportunities. One of our research, we found out, Lara, that we have one of the highest number of students who are graduating, in STEM and also have done professional degrees in cybersecurity, but they are not entering into cybersecurity as a professional career. This is like one of the very quickest win that we need to understand, that why they are not choosing cybersecurity as a career. They definitely chose cybersecurity as a subject to study, but they are not entering. There could be many reasons. One of the reasons could be they couldn't find an opportunity, because every organization wants a skilled workforce. Nobody is willing to invest in the freshly graduate student. That could be one reason. The second is that they might find other domains much more attractive, such as AI, cloud, what have you, because there is also a bit of a war between these domains, because the pipeline is coming, but they have many opportunities. So I believe that we need to increase the pipeline. We need to provide them with the opportunities, with the career advancement, and here the private sector roles comes into play with the right set of mentorship, right type of internship, and those kind of things the private sector can play to invest into the new professionals. The last is the third thing I would like to highlight, that once you have that workforce into a professional careers, how do you provide them an advancement opportunities, which is where upskilling, reskilling, making sure that they get paid properly with the right employee value proposition, gender diversification, all kind of things need to take into consideration. So my closing remark would be that it's not one thing we can do to fix all of that. We need to look into across the value chain.
Thank you so much, Anastasia. Less than a minute, please.
Yes, I very much agree with what has been said so far. 3 points. There is a need to demystify cybersecurity in order to attract more people. It is not just a technical career, but also depends very much on the soft skills that individuals have and transferable skills from other disciplines. Very much agree that there is a need to increase diversity and inclusion in the workforce in the field of cybersecurity, especially that of women, because they bring different ways of thinking, they have different experiences, and often have a tendency to study things subjects that are not as technical, but that can be applied to cybersecurity. And finally, to retain cybersecurity professionals, I would say that it is extremely important to also focus on mental health and well-being, given that they experience a lot of pressure and stress in their roles. So rather than just focusing on the financial incentives that many organizations provide, also focus on work-life balance, flexible work arrangements, and the likes.
Thank you so much, Natasha. Thank you so much for being with us, for sharing your insights, and thank you for your attention. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.